What really made me notice it was psychedelics a little bit, like in a very small dose, like a microdose. And I'm like, why was I hanging out with my daughter on the porch, on my hands and knees, checking out the colors of this beetle, like, like those little things. And I was like, well, it was cool. It was like I was on this super psychedelic journey. I mean, you're completely cognitive. I can have a conversation. I can drive. I can do anything. It's a very, very small amount, but it made me realize that in those moments, to the point now where I very seldomly microdose, and I don't need it. I can just be like, that one experience where I realized what I was doing was enough for me to bring it back to where I can put myself in that state with no sort of drug or alcohol or I don't need any substance to put me in that state. Just take a moment, take a breath, reset your mind, and appreciate what's in front of you, whether it's nature, a dog, anything that can bring you joy.
Yeah, I heard a cool quote the other day, but it was like a lot of people are upset just because like we as adults start taking everything seriously, like what God's made for fun, and it's like we kind of forget just the joy and the joy of playing around, or even sometimes struggling is like learning a new skill. Like if you've ever watched like a little kid like trying to pick up a new task, like they're usually not complaining like I can't get this and getting pissed and getting upset. They are repeatedly tripping, falling, picking something up, throwing something at a wall over and over again because they're just trying to figure it out. Like it's just enjoyable at that point. And so I had to kind of take on some of that, like with my own injury, like just figuring out how to take steps to crawl, like these things that were humbling, and just enjoy it, screw around, play around, know that I'm like relearning my whole body all over again. And, when you start like looking at things a little bit differently, then it removes some of the frustration and being mad at yourself.
Yeah. I love your humor in it too. Like in some of your shorts, like I think it was the Happy Gilmore reference a little bit, right? Like you throw that in there. That's like, it's not all just, there's some comedy mixed in it too, right? And I think your smile's infectious. Like, I love that aspect of like, you do look like you're genuinely trying to have fun no matter what your struggle is or what you're going through or whatever you've achieved. You're at least having fun with it, right?
Yeah, sometimes I don't share the humor side as much because I have more of a dark sense of humor. Like if you talk to people that have gone through like a traumatic type thing, like you develop a pretty dark humor. So the things that I'm usually thinking and the stuff that really like goes on, like if I shared it, most people would be like, "Oh, don't think that, don't say that." And it's like, well, some of the crap's kind of funny.
Right. So we kind of dove off there for a minute, and I didn't really want to go. I'm not steering the conversation. It's a natural conversation. But I think what's crazy to me is how much, because your injury happened in, was it 2014?
Correct.
Okay. So we're going on 10 years.
Yep.
Like the amount of ground that you've covered and what you are capable of now from having that injury to where you couldn't even cough for yourself to now you're on a squat rack or a leg press machine. I see you working out daily. You got rings. I mean, we have your social media pulled up. Go follow Sherown Campbell. It's just Sherown Campbell at Instagram, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we got a link too in the show notes. So open the show notes, check this out. And your physique makes me feel inferior, man. Like I feel like I need to come down and train with you or something.
Yeah, some of my friends give me crap sometimes because they're like, dude, you look like you're in better shape than most of us. And I mean,
of course
like
you are.
The coordination isn't there, but like I've done well, like building some of the muscle back. And with the spinal cord injury, we carry like what's called tone. So it's just kind of a muscle contraction that never lets up, or I have spasms all the time. So like that helps keep up some of my muscle build and muscle tone. So
like you're constantly flexed or...
Yeah, everything's kind of just really tense. And especially if it's like cold or if there's any type of pain, everything just like locks up. And so like that helps with like some of the build, but then it's kind of nice because it helps with things people don't realize. Like it helps keep my blood pressure up so I don't pass out, helps keep up bone density so I'm not breaking things. And when I fall, it's really kind of nice because it limits injuries because I'm just a little brick when I hit the ground.
Yeah. The human body is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
What it can do, what it can go through. And not only that, what it does in certain things to protect yourself. I mean, that's when you look at knockouts in fighters, that's a protection thing that the human body naturally does. Like,
yeah, it's that broken communication between the brain and body. You'll see their body just go rigid and kick out, and mine does that on a daily basis.
Really?
Yeah.
So I guess what did you know, I guess laying in that hospital bed right after it happened, I'm sure that there was some shock and like, I can't believe this happened to me. I'm sure that there's a ton of that goes on, but I guess to get to where you're at now in 10 years, has anybody done this with this severe of an injury? Do you have a community of other people that you had some inspiration to look to, or some sort of mentorship, or
there's some people that I had reached out to. Like there's some other people that I classify as like walking quads and stuff. So reaching out to them, and it's hard to like really pinpoint. Like I think we always want to find someone that is similar. It's like where we are, or what we're doing, or where we want to go. But this injury like impacts people in so many different ways. Like their path isn't necessarily my path, or somebody might think that I'm doing something better on one avenue, but then things are more challenging in a different way. But I did find some other walking quads, and we actually have like a whole group where we communicate and share ideas with, everything from training and relationships to insurance, or how our bodies are responding to stuff. Like sometimes there are similarities and sometimes there's huge differences. It kind of just depends. But having that community really did help a lot, because I was like, okay, well, this doesn't seem normal, but it's normal like for my injury. Or, let me ask them like if they've had these issues, or what happens when their body experiences this. Like, how's it impacting you? How are you feeling? And I mean, a lot of those peers have better information than a lot of times I get from medical, professionals. And so it's been crucial for, as far as like me learning and like developing, and then especially mentally and emotionally, like having those people that understand what I'm going through.